Hi, this is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite game mechanism in Fury of Dracula 3rd Edition. I'm pretty sure, whatever the latest edition is, I think it's 3rd Edition. That's what I just played. And I want to say at the beginning of this video that I did not particularly enjoy my play of Fury of Dracula. I played it for the first time the other day. It took about 4 hours, and I was one of the characters. We did a 5-player game. I was not Dracula. And I mention that not to knock on the game, because I know there are plenty of people who love this game, plenty of people who love any game. But I mention it because the reason I do this video series is that I think that there's a clever game mechanism in every game, whether or not I like it. And I found two in Fury of Dracula that I really, really enjoy. The first is that there's this really interesting deck of cards. I think it's just essentially an event deck. I think it is called the event deck that you draw from on your turn. And it's really, really clever because most of the card, like the borders, which is it's a pretty thick border, looks the same on every card. But there's a symbol in the middle of the card, in the middle of that art, on the back of the card, that's different. There are two different symbols. One is in favor of the explorers, and one is in favor of Dracula. And this is really clever because it allows you to shuffle this deck of cards which is a mix of good and bad things. Essentially two completely different types of cards. It allows you to shuffle the deck of cards without seeing which card is which type. So conversely, if like there had been a solid red back of the card and a solid blue back of the card, as you shuffled it, you would have been able to see which card is which. And as the deck is sitting on the table, if it's even nudged just a little bit, then you would see the red card or the blue card in the stack. But because the symbol is in the middle of the card, you can't see it. If you have the chance, go to Board Game Geek and look at what I'm talking about, because it's really, really clever. And as you're playing the game, you're looking at the top card of that deck, and you can see if it's good or bad. But at times, you have to draw from the bottom of the deck when you don't know what it is. And again, because the symbol's in the middle of the card, you can't see, even from the slightest edge of that card, it gives nothing away because the symbol's right in the middle. Very, very clever. Just really clever. I wonder if any other games do that. I couldn't think of any offhand that do it in such of a clever way. The other mechanism that I thought was really cool, and this is so what I've realized about games is that I don't really enjoy hidden movement games. Even though I grew up playing Scotland Yard, which I remember liking quite a bit, I played Letters from Whitechapel, and I played Spectre Ops and Fury of Dracula now, and it's just not my type of game. But those other two games I named, maybe Scotland Yard too, but I haven't played in a long time. The person who is like running from all the other players and whose information is hidden from the other players, they have to keep track of where they are on like a pad of paper, which is okay. And it kind of tells a story at the end of the game where they get to look back and see, okay, this is where I barely avoided you guys. That's kind of cool. But I also think the way that Fury of Dracula does it is really clever, which is that there's no pad of paper. Instead, there's a deck of locations that the Dracula player chooses from. And so it's a whole deck, and there's one card per location on the board. And whenever that player makes a movement, they select the card hidden, they don't show anybody, and they put it on the board. There's this like row of 6 cards, 6 slots for cards that they can put these location cards. And so what this means is A, you don't have to write anything down, you don't have to bother with pen and pencil. B, that information is like those 6 cards are the most important locations at any given time, because if the other players walk onto any of those locations, the Dracula player has to lift up the card and show them that location. And the order matters. So like if the Dracula player lifts up like the middle card, then you know that he is only 2 steps away from that location. And the cards just add the line of cards add a visual cue to the other players as to how far away they are from Dracula, which you have to do abstractly in your mind if you're using a pad of paper. So I just thought that was a really clever mechanism to use a deck of cards of locations instead of a pad of paper in a hidden movement game. I think that's really cool. And if there's another hidden movement game, I'd love to try another one and give it a chance and maybe like it. I would love to see that mechanism in the game because I just like that better than the pad of paper. Um, Hopefully, I've done a good job of describing that. Let me think if I can say it in any better way. But I think that does it. I guess the other key thing is that the Dracula player can't backtrack, and that's not like a rule that they have to remember. It's on those cards because if the Dracula player chooses the London card and the London card is in that row of cards on the table, showing that he's been to that location, the Dracula player can't then choose another London card out of the deck because it's not there. He has to choose another location. He always has to keep moving. And this is, I'm guessing, I wasn't the Dracula player, but I'm guessing that presents the Dracula player with an interesting choice where he has to kind of plan his route, knowing that he can't ever backtrack. He can be trapped. So pretty cool. Yeah, if you can think of any other games that use these two mechanisms, I'd love to hear about them. I'm sure there are some creative ways that we designers can use them. Thanks.